Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we'll be going through the JuiceBox platform here, and we have our presenter as Jared, that he'll be showing his screen a little bit later. But before we get started, I want to go over just a few things about IAMS and the services that we offer here for our advisors. If you ever have any, please give us a call. It's 1-800-255-5055. All right. First of all, I'd like to talk about our new producer bonus. This is a great way, if you are new here with IAMS, to help build your business. And we have quite a few incentives here that you can qualify for, as you can see on the screen. If you have $100,000 worth of FIA business, or $10,000 in life target premium, and as you can see, the levels and the incentives that you can qualify for. Once again, it's just a great way to partner here with us at IAMS, as we are a true partnership, and we do want you building your business to be as successful as you possibly can. For more information on this, give us a call. It's 1-800-255-5055. And just another way that we like to say thank you to our advisors for doing business here with us is we do have a referral bonus program. It is a one-time check for $50 that we just automatically cut to you for any referral sent over here to us. As most of us know, referrals are the best leads that we like to work with, just as producers. They're already qualified, good people, and also on top of the $50 check that we cut you, you do get a small piece of their business every time they write something. As you can see here on the screen, it kind of breaks it down. Now, just to note, this does not affect that producer at all. This is just a way that we like to say thank you. Good producers over here at IAMS that's referred to us. I've seen Chris and Steve and Curtis cut thousands of dollars worth of checks every quarter for this. It's just a great way to earn some passive income. And also, as you can see, our marketing reimbursement program that we have is really nice. I mean, we pay $100 to your marketing for every $100,000 in premium that you write, or $200 for every $100,000 in single premium, and $200 for every $10,000 for life target. We do not tell you how to spend this. You can spend it as you please. We do recommend to use one of the marketing programs that we do offer here through IAMS, as we do have a reduced rate as a partnership with them. Once again, if you have questions or you'd like to know what's in your marketing reimbursement account, give us a call. It's 1-800-255-5055. And our back office support is just a real place where we like to shine. We want to make sure that you're getting paid as fast as possible. So submission to commission support is handled by our new business team. They do work extremely hard to stay in front of the carriers to make sure they're staying on top of what they need to do. We can help you get paramedic exams set up. We do stay in touch with the clients to make sure things are going smoothly there. It's just one of our core values, as we founded 37 years ago by Charles Hearing. This is just one thing here that we really pride ourselves on. If you need help with anything of like that, give me a call. It's 1-800-255-5055. And this right here, our IAMS website, is a really awesome resource to all of our advisors. You have to be contracted with us first here to be able to have access to this, but it is an excellent resource here. I mean, our sales resource library has thousands of pieces in there. If you need fact finders, articles, sales presentations, all in the sales resource library. Great tools on there include things like our term quoter. I know we have underwriting guides downloaded on there. And also for electronic submissions, which we'll go over here on our next slide, that's where you can access these. Is out there on the IAMS website. Firelight, iPipeline, Sunfire. Sorry about that. Uh, but it's really easy to get signed up for these. It's just a one-time access. You sign on once, you're able to get to it every time. And as you can see, the carriers that work with these platforms on the screen for annuity and some on the life side as well. And our creative marketing department is really awesome at what they do. These are people that deal within the industry every day. It's not like somebody that's maybe really good at what they do for developing web pages, but if they're just not familiar with the industry and not really knowing how to set up the web pages in an effective way for the clients to understand and where to go to find the information. But once again, these people, they deal with it every day. They're very familiar with the terminology and how to design these. They can help out with, logos design, digital solutions, which I know is a huge thing out there in the industry right now. But if you'd like to set up a meeting, give us a call. It's 1-800-255-5055. We also do offer a wealth management division. This is something that was built out about 5 years ago now, and it has been a really good sector for growth for us. Something that we offer here, we can help you become your own IAR. We can help you pass your Series 65, which we have done at a very high success rate. But any questions on this, give us a call, or you can email me at paul@iamsinc.com. In our life and annuity academies, we actually just finished up one in Des Moines, Iowa. It was a really good one. Had a lot of great success out of there. It's a good opportunity to get in touch with your peers within the industry. Talk to some of the top producers out there, share ideas and strategies, see what's working for them, and see how they can help you. I know we will be doing another one later this summer. The dates have not been released just yet, but if you would like more information on these, please reach out to me. And as always, like and follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. We're always posting content that is shareable. You can copy it to your LinkedIn or your Facebook page there. Keeps you up to date with some of the changes coming within the industry. But from here, I am going to turn it over to our next presenter, Jared, and he'll be going over the JuiceBox platform.
Okay, you guys, we've nailed it. First and foremost, thank you
so much. Awesome, thanks, Jared.
No problem, thank you. Folks, I'm super excited about this. Really appreciate everybody spending time with us today. What we're gonna do is we're really gonna get to the point so that we can maximize our time together. Before we do that, what I'd love for folks to do is I think everybody can see that I'm not a big GoToWebinar user myself. So what I'm gonna do is prove that I can use the chat. I'm gonna tell you where am I in the country? And folks, if you could do the same, where are you right now? What's the state that you're in? If you want to go even deeper, what is the what city are you in as well? Would be wonderful. So let's see if I can do this. Don't hold this against me, okay? All right, I did screw it up. Okay, I dropped it in the chat. Like I said, please do not hold this against me. And let's see if I can even turn on a camera. My wife does say I've got a face for radio, but we'll see if you guys can see me as well. Not seeing anything, it looks like. Let's get into it. Okay, what are we here to cover? We really want to show you kind of, what does JuiceBox do? And we're going to answer some of the mystery around how do we, if we are doing marketing for somebody, how do we actually market to your prospects? I think that's often a black box in the industry, is how does my prospect actually come in to meet me? And so we're going to answer that, as well as once that prospect does come in and get onto my calendar, how do I actually convert that person from just a prospect into a client? And so my favor from everybody here is please, love to know where you are in the country. So please do drop that in the chat right now if you are able to do it. Hopefully you can see mine. Paul, maybe you can let me know if you see where I am in the country. Drop in the chat or not. Let's dive into it. Okay, and folks, please ask questions as we go. So, we're going to breeze through this part pretty quickly because really what I want to get to is the meat. And the meat is going to be around, you understanding how does a prospect come in and then how do I close them? And we really don't do this for anybody except for IAMS. And Paul, thank you for such a long-lasting and wonderful partnership. And so that's, why we're doing this today, is to really give the folks here on this call today the inside look. So, we're going to breeze through a lot of this. Really, at the end of the day, our goal is to add on, a minimum of $250,000 in commissionable business to your practice. And so, how do we do that? Is really what we're going to answer. Again, we're going to answer this. The bulk of our conversation today is going to be around IUL. Okay, IUL, and then 80% IUL, 20% annuity is kind of where we live. So, again, Scott, for example, came to us and had never written an annuity, and you can go to our Juicebox YouTube page as well and watch any of these. Had never written an annuity before us. Last year did 7.8. This year, just to give folks a bit of a sense of, what has he done this year? He's over $6 million as of 2 weeks ago. So May 5th, he was about $6 million in production year to date. So, at the end of the day, I think every agent and advisor is trying to solve this top problem, right? It's how do I bring in a qualified and educated prospect that is looking for the solution that I want to provide? So that comes down to having some profitable marketing. Typically, we'll define, who would be kind of a fit for this program and who wouldn't. But this is really important. It's a 4-pillar strategy. Okay, we'll talk about AI and a little bit in the optimizations around that. We don't believe that you as the advisor should take the burden on of learning AI and using that in your practice. Really, for us, what we do is you just plug and play what you do best. And what do you do best? Which is typically closing business, meeting with clients, and figuring out the best product and the best strategy for them. So for us, all of our marketing materials and campaigns, for example, is tested and optimized using AI. And this is not a joke when I say that, as many as 10,000 different tests can occur over the course of a paid marketing strategy, which goes from really headline and the image all the way through the surveys and the landing pages and into the sales process as well. So what I want to do is really give you an understanding of how does this prospect come in. We'll define, so just so everybody knows, on average, what we see is between 25 to 50 qualified, educated prospects coming in on a monthly basis. On average, for an average agent, we'll talk about, what do these numbers typically look like, but the easy one to remember is 5, okay? So 25 to 50 leads a month leads to 5 deals a month, okay? And just like Paul was saying early on, in as soon as 2 weeks. One further breakdown on the IUL side. So out of the 5 deals you're going to close, 4 of those are going to be IULs and 1 annuity. Okay, average case size for us right now on the IUL side, 500 to 1,500 a month. On the annuity, 250 to 750. Okay, if you need me to repeat those numbers later on, please drop it in the chat and let me know. Paul, how are we doing so far? I'm coming across.
Yeah, no, everything's coming out real well. Just if you want me to give a shout out to some of these people that have given their locations, I'll be more than happy to. We have one out of Silver Spring, Maryland. Yeah, so it's under the questions instead of the chat. You may be able to find it there.
Got it, folks. You can see how inept I am with GoToWebinar. So thank you for your patience. And lucky for everybody here, my camera still can't turn on. So I think that's good news for everybody. So what I want to do, if you don't mind, is really give you an understanding, because I think for agents and advisors, a missing link out there and a gap is, I want to do marketing, but I've done things in the past and, it hasn't worked. It's been some type of bait and switch, for example, which really, of course, detracts from an advisor, from an agent's results. There has to be congruence between what the prospect is coming in for and the product that you're going to, at the end of the day, put them into. So hopefully this kind of marketing material is you're able to see this. I'll point out a couple of important things here. Okay, so this is going to be a done for you marketing campaign, which means that again, what are you best at? You're going to be best at closing business, meeting with prospects, building relationships, putting them in the right strategies. So we do everything else. Okay. So this marketing is like I said, it's done for you. Some important things to highlight here. We target intelligent investors, over 100 a year. This is a really crucial line right here because this is the type of person who's coming in to build the same type of financial vehicle that smart, wealthy families have used for decades to build tax-free generational wealth. And now there has to be curiosity. So, when you're watching like your Netflix program, at the end of the program, there's always an open loop. And when I say open loop, I mean there's something to get you to the next step in the process. There's something to get you to the next episode. And that is going to be some type of curiosity, some type of question. So what you can see here is, why don't the wealthy have 401k accounts? So now this person, they're curious about it. And what's going to occur is, they're going to click through. And now what we're going to do is education. Education is such a key component, I'm sure, of not just our strategy, but most advisors or agents that are attending or watching this conversation, in the future. I'm sure there's just a suspicion of mine. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to educate them around this TFRA. Okay, so TFRA is a tax-free retirement account. That is what this prospect is coming in to set up. And so what we've got to do immediately is confront the skepticism, the natural skepticism. And if this is a question that has popped up for prospects for you, maybe just drop in a chat in the chat and say yes, or a thumbs up if you can, just to indicate. And Paul, if you do get some of these responses, just let me know. Why hasn't if this was so great, Jared, why hasn't my financial advisor ever told me about it? So we've got to confront that skepticism before this prospect gets to you. Okay, so we say, hey, look, reason one, reason two, most don't know about it. They're probably not compensated for it either. And so now what we've got to do is we've got to hit on the pain points. Okay, and some of the big pain points right now, right? 401k, your IRA, it's just not going to get you there. This is a savings vehicle that's no longer enough. And so we've got to create a problem with the status quo. The status quo is, hey, look, you've got to pay taxes. Your money's not liquid. It's not guaranteed. You got to report your earnings. And so now what happens? This person says, Jared, again, that's interesting. I want to know more. Okay, so now what happens is we introduce some of the potential benefits of the solutions that you're going to provide. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to give everybody here a sense of how your prospect gets educated and qualified before they get to you. This is really just for information's sake. So hopefully that's coming across. And so now this prospect is saying, okay, with the TFRA, I don't pay taxes. I can earn 30 to 40 times more interest. My interest rate's guaranteed. Your money can be liquid. May not be required to report your earnings. Oh my gosh, Jared, this has got to be too good to be true. And again, if that's a question that you get, just drop a yes in the chat. Maybe you're looking at an illustration with your prospect and they say, hey, Paul, this has got to be too good to be true. There's no way you can actually do this. So we again take that, our goal is, and we've got guarantees on all of our programs. And so hopefully you're getting the sense that, there's this alignment of incentives. And so now what we do is our goal is to really, educate and inform this prospect and make them more willing and likely to purchase. So now what we do is we say, hey, look, is this, it's not too good. We use a historical, a modern day context. We use presidents in the last 100 years. We use the most successful people in society right now. And now what we do is we say, can you even qualify for this type of account? Now that they've been educated and qualified on it, they're going to fill out somewhere between a 10 to 20 question survey to see if they can even qualify. Something I really want to point out here as well is what we're going to do is we're going to match them up with one person. So this is one marketing campaign done across an entire state. And we also shut those states down. So, at a 50% capacity to ensure there's always a steady flow of qualified prospects. Again, guarantees, which we'll get to later. But this is done, this is one campaign. This person is specifically coming in to talk to you and only you. So it's not like this prospect is going out to somebody else. You're going to get this investor profile, including, this information as well. And then they get matched up with you. So it'd be a photo of you, replace your, photo there. Congratulations, we matched up with a local advisor. Here is what's going to happen next. And so now we've built the relationship between you and the prospect, and we've informed them about the cliffhanger. What's going to happen next? Well, hey, Michael's going to follow up with you, complete the rest of these, program qualifications to see if you can even qualify for this TFRA. Okay. So again, you're not involved in this process at all. The prospects are coming in. You're getting, between a lead to 2 leads a day coming in through the system to set up a TFRA. We're going to talk in just a second here about the handoff. What happens next? How do they actually get to me? And then what is the sales system to take this from just a prospect into a client, and then to do that 5 times a month. So before I do that, Paul, any questions that have popped up yet? And please, folks, please, yeah, I don't think I'm seeing any of your questions, but please drop those in the chat now if you have any. Folks, we're nailing it, or I'm boring you. It's one of the two. I really hope it's number one. So now somebody has come in. They've said, hey, I read, oh, Paul, I hear you about to jump in.
No, I was about to say that there are questions coming in. It's in the question box that people are interested in kind of going back over the closing ratios is what I'm seeing. And, I can always circle back up with everybody on these questions after the webinar to speak with you one-on-one to get these answered for you.
Got it, totally. And I'll drop a link as well for folks who want to explore this in further depth. I will try to find an actual breakdown of the closing ratios as well. So that's if we have time at the very end, I'll pull up just a spreadsheet to kind of walk everybody through what we expect, if that's something that's relevant or helpful for folks. And my suspicion is we'll be 10 or 15 more minutes in terms of the actual content that we have. And so, Paul, if it is helpful, I'll need a few minutes, but I'm sure I can dig that up as well.
Nope, that sounds great.
Wonderful. You can't see me, but I'm giving 2 thumbs up, folks. That's just wonderful. So now this person has come in. Okay, these prospects have come in, 25 to 50 leads a day. Okay, they've come in. They've said, I want a TFRA. How do they actually get up to you as the agent, the advisor? Of course, all of this happens automatically, and then they go through automatic, nurture campaigns and follow-up campaigns. We kind of go deeper on this. One of our coaches, uses the system himself, is a $700 million annuity producer. He does, some of our coaching through the Juicebox program as well. Last year did $72 million in annuity business. He will actually listen to your calls. Okay, so a big advantage here is that, and we'll get into kind of the third problem that advisors and agents have to solve, but it isn't just about leads. It's a sales system, and then it's also, how do I close more business? And on the close more business front, call reviews, sales coaching, all of that is going to be just massively helpful to continue to increase those. So I want to touch on something pretty briefly here, but there's a misconception in the industry. And if agents and advisors just knew this one fact, I think they would just, no matter what marketing system they used, they would perform significantly better. Okay, so the one fact that I would love for every person here to understand is something called the 5-minute rule. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of folks out there have found that pre-booked appointments, right? It sounds like this just silver bullet that's going to solve all the problems. A pre-booked appointment on my calendar, but what ends up happening, and the data that we found is that there's something that occurs there. It's no-shows, right? It's your show-up rate is significantly reduced versus what we're going to call and what we call our hybrid method. Okay, so the hybrid method is something, is conversational closing. And so I'll just give you a sense of timelines here. Okay, so this, you can see hopefully this timestamp that's appearing is 4:52 p.m. That's when this first message goes out. Okay, lead has come in, they've said, hey, I want to set up a TFRA. Well, before 5 minutes, okay, 2 to 5 minutes from then, now the system is going to automatically do this. And they're going to say, hey, to your prospect, I was just notified about your pre-qualification. When is the best time to set up our first conversation? Okay, of course, this person goes through a nurture campaign after this, but 5 minutes is such a crucial rule. And if anybody does know the 5-minute rule, please drop it in the chat right now so that, I'm not wasting your time. But the 5-minute rule comes down to show-up rates. Okay, so if we waited, and we've tested this, and Harvard has confirmed this data as well, but if we waited more than 5 minutes to connect with this prospect through this series of automations, what would happen to your close rates? And the close rates after just 5 minutes decline 180%. That's not wrong. It's 180%. After 10 minutes, it's 390%. 390. Okay, so strike while the iron's hot. I'm sure we've all heard that. Well, look, we're in the TikTok generation. There's 1 minute rice is too long. And so now what has happened is this prospect immediately gets, boom, that notification that says, hey, I'd love to connect with you. They respond. And now you're going to go in and the system is going to automatically, nurture that prospect to show up for the next appointment as well. So that is the one, it doesn't matter what marketing campaign or what you're doing. If you're doing something with leads, time to contact is so crucial. Okay. What I want to also, this is pretty small, so hopefully this is coming across. We've got a massive screen here, but it may be small for you. These are some of the responses that the prospect is giving to you. Okay, so this is the information that you have beforehand. What benefits of the TFRA are you most interested in? You can see that this person has said guaranteed interest rates, tax-free retirement, no tax liability on growth, zero risk or exposure to market downturns, preservation of capital, current strategies, 401k, IRA, cash, active trading, current primary source of income. Okay, so now this person has come in, they've responded to you, they've gotten onto your calendar, and now what the heck happens, I think, is probably the next question. So I'll give a second for folks if there is anything relevant that people want to cover right now. Please drop that in the chat. Paul, stop me as I kind of transition into the next phase if there is anything that is relevant that we should cover right now. But now this person has come in. Okay, this prospect has come in. They've gotten onto my calendar. I'm trying to give you a sense of, what is a day in the life of somebody working the juice box system, okay? And so now this person has come in, and now you're going to follow the retirement income sales system, okay? Retirement income sales system really solves this problem around trust and leverage, okay? Because, if you're seeing 50 prospects a month, there's going to be constraints on your time. And so we follow a 3-step process, okay? This is all backed up by research and science and a decade plus of doing this in the business, and also backed up by a $700 million annuity producer as well. So this 3-step process, it's really important. And also, what I'll say is, I've mentioned congruence before. So congruence between the marketing to the sales system to the coaching and the scripts and the templates is so important. So somebody is not reinventing the wheel when they come to us. It's a plug and play system. Okay, so a 3-step process. This person has come in. Now what I'm going to do is I've got a 10-minute financial qualification call with this person. It's all scripted out for you. We use something called the Socratic dialogue. And if you don't know what the Socratic dialogue is, it uses questions to take out the objection. So that is how we get objectionless closes, where the person just says, hey, can you do an application for me to see if I can even qualify for something like this? Okay, so now we've got the qualification process where, 10-minute financial qualification. They go to step 2. Okay, so step 2 is going to be a financial forecast. I want to show you this tool because it is that powerful. We're going to crunch all of this person's numbers, this prospect's numbers, to reflect back to them the reality of their situation. And then they are going to say, Jim, Paul, Jared, can you move me on to the next step? Can you show me a solution to this problem? So qualification, second step is going to be a financial forecast. So I'll point out some of the really key information here. We've got this person's current age, and keep in mind, we've got all of the details, or pretty much all of the details in that first conversation. And now we're just confirming with the prospect, we're meeting on Zoom. So 10 minutes financial qualification. This can be, a 30-minute Zoom conversation with the prospect where we say, hey, look, this is what you should, this is when you're going to retire. This is current age. This is when you're going to retire. Income, qualified, non-qualified. So what this tool is going to do, it's going to reflect back to them the reality where we say, hey, look, in retirement, based on traditional financial planning principles, you should have $82,000 a year in income in retirement. But we ran all your numbers here, okay? And what you're going to have is 52. Is that enough for you? Any guesses on what people say there? They say, not even close. They say, is there anything you can do now that I know? Is there anything you can do to help me solve that? So again, this is all scripted out for you. You're following our process. And so what is going to occur now is we're going to say, hey, look, I work with 60 different companies, let's say, and they make me work custom with each and every one of them. So before I go do all of that legwork on your behalf, I just really want to confirm that I think what I'm hearing from you, Jane Juice, for example, is that you're telling me you need to solve for more income or retirement. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Awesome. So great. If I came back to you with some kind of solution that, was going to show you a way where I think I can probably increase your income or retirement and likely, also reduce your tax rate. If I could do something like that, is that something you're pretty ready to move forward on? Yeah, absolutely. So now what's going to happen is this is going to create our solution that syncs up automatically to our standardized presentation. You're going to walk this person through. Again, it's all virtual. Okay. All of the selling is done virtual, where we're going to show this person, hey, look, you kind of got 2 options here. Okay. You got the red or the green. Your choice. Doing what you're currently doing now, you're going to get $52,000 a year. With my solution, you're going to get $68,000. So not only am I increasing your income by 30%, but I'm taking your tax rate from 10% to 0. Maybe you can type in the chat right now. What do you think people take, red or green? Guessing we got a few greens. Being Canadian, I don't know if anybody remembers the Red Green TV show. That's maybe where that influence came from. So even the colors, there's psychology behind that. So now this person, okay, we've closed that business. We've taken them through the retirement income sales system. Out comes 5, IULs with 4 IULs and an annuity a month. What happens after that is going to be on the coaching and the support and the constant growth. Okay, so the accountability and the support, again, just giving people leads. We did that 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and that is not a path forward, and that's not a process that we can guarantee. So the folks that we look for, the people who say, I just want a proven, repeatable system that I know is going to work, and then the hand-holding on kind of the back end as well. So it's not just leads and then closing that business. There's also a service component there. So in the 6 live weekly coaching calls every week, so these are done by multi-million-dollar producers. Okay, it's not just done by marketers out there like me. So our sales coaching call, for example, that is Mike Milligan. He's a $700 million annuity producer himself. He uses this system, and then he coaches you on how to improve that closing ratio. We do case design, case planning. That's done by Jim Fisher, our founder, CEO. Not only a wonderful person, but also a multi-million-dollar producer himself. Tech, our forecaster. That was that tool that I showed you. How do I actually use that? We've got all the training on that, as well as twice a week peer-to-peer coaching as well. So, you are the 5 people you spend the most time with, our agent mastermind community. We do even, more in-depth case design, breakdown, inspiration, product discoveries, personal support, one-on-one onboarding progress, coaching, support portal, and the guarantee. I've mentioned this a few times, and I'm still hopeful that we're going to be able to get into some of that closing. I know a lot of you have been asking about that information. So I'll try and pull something up as well. But there's a 3x guarantee. We'll talk, investment here fairly shortly. So it's a 3x return on investment guarantee. This is not a 3x lead guarantee. It's not a 3x appointment guarantee, because at the end of the day, most agents and advisors, they care about, for every dollar I put in, what am I going to earn from that? Okay. So classically, in an agent's first year, they're going to add on $250,000 a year in that first year in commissions. There is variance around that as well. We guarantee a 3x, which we'll get into in just a second. And then, second year, for example, like Jesse did 800,000 in commissions. If people are interested, I can send, some of these kind of case studies as well for folks. Scott, we saw that in, his second year, he did $8 million in annuity business. So yeah, first year 250, you should be definitely adding on more as you learn the system. You get, there's just that pipeline fills. But people can fail. And when it happens because primarily it comes down to following the system. We tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what to say, how to say it, how to close that business. At the end of the day, the agents who don't succeed are the ones who just don't follow, the system. And so yeah, for people, we just don't want people reinventing the wheel. If you're, going to commit to Juicebox, it's somebody that says, this is the all-in system where I don't have to really think about anything. I'm just going to, again, do what I do best. So, we'll breeze through a lot of this. At the end of the day, going out and doing this yourself, we have scale. We've worked with 1,000 agents in this space specifically. And so, we've got scale. And so, we can decrease the cost for folks. So in terms of the actual marketing strategy, remember I said done for you. Really what that means is you don't touch anything. We're constantly optimizing and improving using AI to do that. And so, our retirement income sales system, our goal for everybody in the program, when they add on marketing, your goal should be to, make back your yearly investment before your campaign even launches. We'll kind of talk a little bit later on about that. And you kind of do that through all of those channels. So I'll kind of break down the investment and what that looks like. So this is, all inclusive. Okay. So, what I would recommend for folks, I'll drop a link in the chat later on in terms of the kind of next steps. If they want to go deeper on this, this is not just pitching you something. This is, hey, I wanted to give everybody here kind of the behind the scenes look so that you can understand. And we'll break down some of these investments here. Okay. So over the course of the year, it's 37.1. Okay. So what does that look like to actually kind of get started? I'll also define who is the right candidate for what we call Agentship Plus. Okay. So classically, it's about a 2-week onboarding process. You got 5 hours of kind of training to get through. You've got 3 to 5 onboarding calls to get through, and then really importantly, you're taking our retirement income sales system and going back to an old book of business, for example, cross-selling. And the goal is to make this back before your actual campaign starts. Okay, we've got lots of folks that have done that and more. And so 2 weeks, then your campaign would start. I'll kind of break down what the investment looks like. We'll define this sales system as well. So you get a discount when you do this Agentship Plus on the sales system. There's a setup fee, sales system, and then your first month. So $2,650 is the first month, and then on an ongoing basis as well. So 50-ish% of that goes directly to ad spend. And so, if you're sitting there thinking, well, do I have to pay ad spend on top of this, which is, I think, classically what folks, in the industry do? No, that's included in that. And so who is a good fit for this program? So we've got two, okay? The person who is sitting there and thinking, look, I've been doing this for a couple of years, for a year for sure. I've been making 6 figures selling IUL and annuity. And the constraint that I'm running into in my business is I'm not seeing enough people. If that's you, look, probably explore the Agentship Plus with paid marketing. Okay, so that's everything done for you. If you are less than that, okay, if you're not making 6 figures, annually selling IUL and annuity, what we found is there's actually a better path forward. The better path forward is not adding on leads. That causes problems because typically, if you don't have that experience of hitting those income targets, then you may be uncomfortable in those selling situations. For example, you may not have a repeatable process. You may not have some of the word tracks and things. And so we would, instead of adding leads to this person here, we would say there's actually a better way. And the better way is to start slower. Okay, the start slower is going from typically what we see in the business is somebody who sells insurance. They sell IUL as insurance. But what we need to be doing is use that retirement income sales system risk to make a better offer. And the better offer is not insurance, but it's income. And what we find when agents and advisors do this to, using our process to warm market, cold leads, dead leads, what they can do is those sunk costs, they can get started in a less significant manner from an investment standpoint. And then they can, and there's a 2x guarantee on this program. So the goal is to make $24,000. Make your next $24,000 using Agentship. So that's without leads. Okay, and so for the course of the year, that's $12,000, but there's a pretty neat guarantee on this. All you have to do is you put down half of that, okay? So all you do is put down $5,800. You don't have to pay anything until you've made $24,000 in commissions in your pocket, okay? And once that has occurred, then we would add, then you can explore adding on marketing. So more than 10,000, less than 10,000. Paul, what I'll do if there are questions that have come through, please folks drop your questions in the chat. I will try and dig up that. I know you were talking about close rates and such. So let me try and find that as well. Stop sharing.
Yeah, and Jared, just while you're trying to find some of those closing ratios there, just a few questions that have come through is one agent asked, like, hey, what if I'm licensed in multiple states? I guess in reference to running multiple campaigns at once, would you recommend something like that, or just running one state at a time so they're not just getting inundated with too many appointments?
That's a wonderful question, whoever asked that. Paul, before I answer that, are we seeing my screen by any chance?
Yep, where it's got monthly, annual, and ROI.
Awesome. We'll kind of expand this and go further into depth. So to answer that specific question, and it's a wonderful one, like I said. So what we found over the course of a decade plus for agents that are in multiple states, and they say, hey, I've seen this, I love it, I want to kind of jump all in. We actually don't start people out in more than one state, and there's a reason behind that, because at the end of the day, about a lead a day, 25 to 50 leads a month is what you're going to get prospects coming through this system. That is enough to keep you busy, and so we're not going to actually add on more states in that kind of early phase. we'd wait until 3 months for sure to do a review with you and say, hey, yes, this really does make sense based on all the metrics that we're seeing. So for that person who asked that question, no, we're not going to start you out in more than one state. We'll start you out in one. We do that across the entire state. You can always expand after that. So wonderful question. So what I wanted to answer really quickly for the folks that said on the actual closing rates, like what do you expect? Okay, so remember, folks, I've kind of said, first year, $250,000 a year in commissions is what you should be earning. And so what does that kind of look like on a monthly basis? So 35 prospects a month, right? So 25 to 50, kind of taking the mid ground of there. We're going to show you as well how to find, kind of old leads, dead leads, or market leads as well, and to convert those as well, but just marketing wise. Okay, so out of those, we're going to assume some conservative numbers here. Okay, so out of the 35, let's say we only get a hold of half. Okay, our numbers are actually much higher than that, but let's be conservative. Okay, and then out of the half, only half are qualified. Okay, out of the half, as we walk them through that process, what we'll see is, our more experienced agents will close, 50% of those people. As you get more experience, you learn the system. Okay, so generally what we find is target, right? Most agents out there, and you should, I'm sure, care about target because that's the number that you get paid on. I'm sure folks here are, let's just use 100 as kind of a good starting point. I'll use 6.5 because these are probably like some industry norms on life comp and annuity comp. So based on our kind of traditional numbers and we're gonna for here, there we go. So we'll do 500. This is kind of standard for us, 250, 500 a month. These are monthly premiums, okay? And then we'll do a small annuity there, okay? So, even just with these like more conservative numbers, that's, 25,000 in monthly commissions, which is gonna be, 300, 275, 300 gross, and on net, 267. That's a 7.2, and we've got folks that will, do double that, for example. I want to give folks a second to digest that because I may have gone fairly quickly. And if any questions are coming in, please do drop those in the chat. If this, maybe I went too quickly, if anybody has any follow-on kind of questions.
And Jared, there was another question that came in. It was a person that had met with some potential clients, and they, had quite a bit of qualified funds from a pension to rollover, and they just had some objections of tying up money, and insurance companies maybe not doing as well as being projected, and maybe just kind of overcoming some of those objections right there. Is that something else that Juicebox helps out with?
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful, this group, I laugh because it's typically just such a great and advanced group of folks. And so that's a wonderful question. What I would want to do really briefly, if you don't mind, again, I don't typically do this, but I think this is going to be pretty powerful for folks on this call. So, you can see agentship, this is communities in here. So to answer the specific question of, hey, I get this prospect and they've given me some kind of objection. Surrender as an objection. They've given me hate insurance companies, or they've given me, hey, I'm really not ready to move forward. What do I do? And does Juicebox train on that? And so the short answer is yes, very much so. The exact scripts and process, to handle that. And so what I've pulled up here is our dynamic objection handling. And so, you can see all of the linked how to handle any objection. So these are going to be the exact scripts to answer that. What I would also say to that person who asked the question around objections is something that's really powerful that gets done on our sales coaching call is you get access to a $700 million annuity producer. So maybe just ask yourself, do I think that $700 million annuity producer, $72 million in annuity production last year, would also be helpful in that regard? Because, so often, just to, again, answer the question with a little bit more depth, is what we will do is we'll pull up some of those common objections and we'll say, hey, I got a surrender, objection. What do I say? And how do I handle that? And so my point is, yes, we cover all of the objections, and we even go deeper into that, where you get that really, one-on-one kind of feedback from one of the top producers in the country.
Nice, thank you for that. And another question that has come through is back in the presentation where you were going over how to get to zero taxes. We have an agent asking, well, how do we get around the federal taxes? How are we getting to zero on that?
Oh, got it. Good question. So you're talking specifically about this specific forecast, I believe.
I believe that was right. Is when you were talking about getting to zero, would you choose red or green there? Of course, many people said green, obviously, but the question came in after that. Well, how are we getting around that federal side on the taxes?
That's a great question. So I must admit to everybody here, remember earlier on when I said I'm a marketer, not a $1 million producer. So I do not have all of the answers. I can find out though, and if, Paul, we can also coordinate after the fact. That person who asked the question, if you keep note of their name, what I can do is I can follow up and get an answer on that. Just note that I may have inputted something incorrectly. So yeah, because I am seeing, actually that's their current. So this would be using an IUL. And also this is a demonstration, so please don't hold me to this. I don't know if that's helpful. So yes, I will follow up and get an answer.
Yeah, no, and I'll definitely follow up with everybody as well. Last one that just came in is what percentage of the leads are the IUL versus annuity prospects? And I believe you had touched base on this earlier. It was kind of a 3-to-1, 3 IUL to 1 annuity. Is that correct?
Good question. So typically what we see is it's actually 80-20, and 80 on the IUL side, 20 on the annuity. So out of 5 deals a month, 4 IULs and 1 annuity.
Perfect. Jared, I think the questions have quit coming in just here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day and joining us and going through the Juicebox platform and lead generations and how it works. I'll be circling up with everyone shortly after the meeting. Reach out to me if you have any questions in the meantime. It's 1-800-255-5055. Thanks, Jared, man. I really appreciate your time once again.
Paul, thank you. And thank you guys for this incredible relationship, folks. Everybody who attended, thank you so much. There is a link that you can schedule a first conversation to see, which domain you would which program you could potentially be a fit for. You can kind of get some more questions answered there and get walked through in even more detail. So thank you everybody for attending. Paul, thank you for your time and have a wonderful week, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you. Everybody have a great day.